With the IPL now firmly in our rearview mirrors, the focus shifts back to international cricket and the first major assignment for India in what is an important year of cricket. Remember, the T20 World Cup is set to be held later this year, and so every series assumes greater importance. The first major test for India will be the Proteas, or of course South Africa. Now, South Africa have something of an interesting record in India. They've generally speaking always done well against the Indians, and they are sending a full strength squad for what is a 5-match T20I series. India, on the other hand, have done some rotation. There will be a few fresh faces in the squad. The likes of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli are not going to be in the series this time around. But South Africa have gone the opposite way, and they will be sending what is a full strength 11. So it will be actually a major test for the KL Rahul led Indian team to actually get away with what would be a very good series win. Now, obviously, as I said, the South African team is full strength. So today, I'm Shane Reyes, and I am going to be discussing with you guys who I think will be the 6 biggest threats to an Indian series win, or the 6 biggest threats from the South African team. And we're starting off with number 6, Marco Jansen. Now, obviously, Marco Jansen is someone who Indian fans and the Indian players, in fact, would be all too familiar with. After all, he rose to prominence largely thanks to his performances against India. Remember, the last time India toured South Africa in the Test series, Marco Jansen had 19 wickets in that particular series. So he clearly knows how to get wickets against India. He enjoys performing against them. And remember, he had a decent outing this time around in the IPL too. Yes, his form tapered off as the series went on, but 7 wickets at a strike rate of 27.43, not too bad. He does know what conditions are like. He would be familiar with what it's like to bowl in India. And remember, he's a very good option with the new ball, can get some swing, bowls at a decent pace, and perhaps most importantly, he would be very key to exploiting what is generally speaking a weakness of the Indian top order against left arm seam bowling. So Marco Jansen would be number 6, who I think is ranking on that list of threats to the Indian team. Number 5 will be AIDEN MARKRAM. Now, AIDEN MARKRAM in recent times has ended up becoming something of a very handy player in the South African middle order. Remember, he started out as an opener. In fact, he has the distinction of not only opening with the bat, he's also opened with the ball in the same match. So he is a bit of an all-round option, can provide some handy off spin, but what is perhaps most important when it comes to looking at Markram is that he's an aggressive middle order batsman. In fact, as can be seen here, he has a strike rate of 147 in T20I cricket. That's a very, very good strike rate, and he does have that ability to play in an aggressive attacking manner and take the match away from the opposition. And remember, he's again coming off a very, very good IPL season. 381 runs in this year's IPL, his best showing in the tournament so far. Yes, his form too kind of tapered off as the tournament went on, but the simple fact is he knows how to score those quick runs in Indian conditions, and that will be important for the South Africans as they would actually fancy their chances of maybe getting a series win away from home against an Indian team that might not necessarily boast the pedigree of teams previously, largely because of course they're resting a few players. At number 4, we're looking at David Miller. Now, Killer Miller, as we all know, ended up having a very, very fantastic IPL season for arguably the first time since 2014 or 15. Because remember, Miller in the past few years in the IPL has been very hit or miss, has been very in and out of his sides, hasn't exactly put up the best of performances, and also more importantly, as I can be seen in the point there, was very susceptible to quality spin bowling. This time around, however, in the IPL, he had plenty of fantastic form for the title winning team, Gujarat Titans. Remember, he scored 481 runs and was striking at 142.73, and that's coming into bat at number 5. So those are very, very good numbers. What's more, remember that problem I mentioned about him not being able to take on quality spin bowlers? Well, he seemingly overcome that as well. So what would be the most glaring or most glaring problem for him in Indian conditions, the fact that he couldn't play spin, he's seemingly overcome, and he's riding on a massive momentum in terms of both confidence and in terms of his form. So Miller will definitely be one of those players who the Indians need to watch out for. As anyone who's watched the IPL in 2022 can attest, he can and will often single-handedly take games away from you. Number 3 is KAGISO RABADA. Again, this is someone who needs no introduction. RABADA has been one of the best bowlers, not just for South Africa, but in the world, arguably. Across formats, very dangerous player, generates a lot of pace, can be handy both in the new ball situation as well as, of course, the death. But the best thing about RABADA is not only the fact that he bowls fast, it's also that he has a very good knack of taking wickets despite whatever the conditions may be. Again, just a quick look at his IPL numbers over the past few years would suggest that he's someone who doesn't mind playing in Indian conditions. In fact, he quite enjoys them. In fact, even this year, he took 23 wickets at a strike rate of 12.52, and that was in a Punjab Kings side that were pretty inconsistent. I mean, they won a few games, they lost quite a few close games, but RABADA, when he was fit and firing, was arguably their best strike bowler, and he will be playing the same role for the South Africans. So again, the Indian batsman playing out or managing to get away with some runs against KAGISO RABADA will be a massive achievement, because as I said, he's not just a good bowler in T20s, he's arguably one of the best bowlers in the world. So definitely up there when it comes to the threats that the Indians will be facing in this series. Number 2 is TABRAIZ SHAMSI. Now, obviously, a lot of you would be wondering why it is that I've rated someone like SHAMSI just above someone like RABADA. But the fact is, SHAMSI in recent times has become something of a force in the shortest format of the game. In fact, as things stand, he is the #1 ranked bowlers in T20I international cricket. So, massive achievement for him. And it's come at the time when South Africa have been missing a top quality spinner. He's really grown into that role of being the strike bowler and as far as the spinning department is concerned. He's got 57 wickets in T20Is, and that's about a decent strike rate of 18.4. So he's been a key bowler for the South Africans, and in fact, even before that, he had been proving his worth in domestic T20 leagues as well. What's more is that he has a lot of variations, and he bowls a very unique style of left arm. Of course, we know he's a left arm wrist spinner. His variations are very, very hard to pick. He has a happy knack of taking wickets, and he's also very, very economical, meaning he's pretty much the full package that you're looking for from a T20I spinner. Definitely, he's going to be one of those bowlers who poses quite the challenge to the Indian batsman, because his variation and the fact that he likes taking wickets will mean that he'll not be very easy to get away. And of course, now there's only one person left, so I'm going to spare you the suspense and tell you who my #1 threat will be if I'm looking at things from an Indian fan's perspective. It is, of course, Quinton de Kock. I mean, could it really have been anyone else? I mean, Quinton de Kock, as we all know, is a destructive presence at the top of the order. He's someone who can single-handedly take the game away from you if he gets going. He will score you lots of runs. He will score you those runs at a very quick pace. So again, very, very dangerous batsman to have atop the order, especially one who in recent times has been in pretty good form. Remember, he scored a century against the Kolkata Knight Riders in the IPL 2022 towards the latter stages, and he's also overall ended up the tournament with a respectable amount of runs, 508 runs in IPL 2022 at a very good strike rate, I might add. But it's the other major threat that has to be addressed is the fact that Quinton de Kock just loves scoring runs against India. Not just runs, in fact, he loves scoring big runs against India, because if you look at Quinton de Kock's stats, you'll see that he's scored 23 international hundreds across formats. None of those in T20s, but 23 hundreds across formats. And of those 23, 7 have come against India. So he really likes scoring runs against the Indians, and for me personally, given the kind of threat that he poses atop the order, for me, he would be the biggest threat if you're talking about who it is that I would fear the most could take the game away from the Indian cricket team in this T20I series. And that's it for this particular list. Again, if you disagree with me, or if you agree with me, or who do you think your threats would be, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends. Let us know in the comments who you think would be a bigger threat than any of the players I mentioned, or if you think that there was someone I could have included who I may have missed out on. Again, remember, this is a strong South African team, so kind of had to let go of a few people, but this is my list and I'm sticking with it. What is yours? Let me know. Subscribe to the channel, of course, if you haven't already. As always,